Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with another video, and it is finally time, after 13 or 14 years of experience, to finally make a Sword Fights in the Heights streaking tutorial. My goal with this video is for someone to be able to watch this and essentially master the game off of one watch. There's going to be lots of useful info in this video. You will master it in no time. So to start off, I'm going to show you a legend on screen that will show you the locations of every single sword. I'm not going to explain what each and every single one does, but I will leave a link to the wiki page for this in the description, so you can go check all that out yourself and see the damages and everything. Next we have all the portals. I would say the blue one is the safest for going in and out of. There's usually way less traffic here, and I didn't add it to the legend, but you must avoid this portal. It takes you to a completely different place, essentially ending your streak, and that's game over. This is where you can find all the equipment around the map. You're gonna end up using pretty much all of these except for the shield orb. Personally, I just don't really see much use for it. So when you spawn into the game, the first thing you want to do is get Illumina, find your way to the safe area and head out the white portal, turn left and go up, and you're gonna want 2 of these Illuminas. So while waiting for the second one, I usually fly over and get the touchstone because that's going to be essential. That takes you right to the safe zone. And make sure you grab body armor while you're doing this. You might as well. The Illumina is one of the 2 movement weapons, the other being the Ghostwalker. I'll explain that one in a second, but I want to show you first. One of the most important things for streaking in today's meta is the Illumina Fly Glitch. It is technically a glitch. Roblox physics keep breaking over the years, essentially changing the physics for the Illumina, and that's why it flings you around like this. And eventually people just adopted it as a part of their playstyle, and it became the new meta. To practice this, I recommend going to the safe area, position your Illuminas in your hotbar right next to each other so it's easy to switch back and forth. So essentially what you're going to do is lunge and jump, and once you're midair and your lunge is finished, you can switch to your other Illumina and lunge with that one, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again in the air, and you pretty much just stay afloat. It's pretty ridiculous. I will say though, this is completely optional. You don't have to use the Illumina Fly Glitch. It's kind of frowned upon depending on who you ask. I would encourage the old meta all the way, which is essentially just using Ghostwalker instead of any Illumina flying. The Ghostwalker is going to be one of your most important weapons, and you're pretty much going to get only 9 kills with it. For each kill, the sword gains a level, and each level increases your transparency until you're completely invisible. So after level 9, this pretty much becomes your main way of sneaking up on people and traveling around the map, so it's very essential to say the least. I'd recommend using a shadow sphere to secure your kills with the Ghostwalker because it's hard to do a regular sword fight with this thing. Every time you lunge with it on flat ground, you float up a little bit, and it makes your sword just clear over players' heads. So that'll definitely get you killed if you're not careful. Again, I highly recommend using the old meta and Ghostwalker only. Some of the greatest players came from this era. Justice 5150, Hone0101, Mac, I Don't Lose, just to name a few. Moving on to primary damage weapons. Of these 3, Firebrand is the only essential because it completely counters the freezing effect of the Ice Dagger, and the other swords are pretty optional, mainly because I feel like the effects of the swords are much less important nowadays than how you position yourself and use the swords. You can pretty much just wave your camera around and stack a ton of damage really quickly anyways, so sometimes the effects only make a little difference, and I find that Wind Force ends up pushing them away and actually losing me a kill a lot of the time. I didn't include Darkheart on this one because I just don't recommend it. It's shorter than all the other ones, it's been nerfed, it was great in the old meta, but it just doesn't work the same as it used to. Aside from that, I'd say just remember to stack up medkits, they will save your life. Once you get good with the Illumina flying, you can fly in and out of the safe area to avoid people portal camping. I recommend also trying this thing I call the half lunge, where you pretty much just do a regular Illumina lunge and jump, except you wait a second before jumping, and you kind of just get a big hop. That's very similar to the old Illumina style jump, and it's really useful for catching people off guard. Another thing that's good for catching people off guard is going invisible behind walls and coming out and rushing them. They're still gonna think you're behind the wall. Similarly, you can use this red button down by the Darkheart to sneakily teleport into the middle without anybody seeing you, and you should be right over top of everybody. But yeah, as far as actually streaking goes, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. If you're getting into streaking, I highly recommend you join Sword Fights in the Heights Legends. This is the first ever streaking group, and it's been a cornerstone of this community for many years now. You can record and submit your streak here and essentially earn a rank to show for it, and there's more info about that on the group and in the server for it, so go check that out. And another thing I really need to mention, if you're watching this video in February of 2025, you are in luck because Corbin368 is hosting a huge streak contest with huge grand prizes totaling up to 100,000 Robux. It's pretty nuts, but the one condition is you cannot use Illumina. It's going to be fun. It's going to put a lot of people to the test. I'm going to leave a link to Corbin's video in the description so that you can go get more details on this tournament. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. That is my streaking guide for 2025 and forward. Please let me know in the comments if you got a streak using the advice I gave you in this video. And yeah, that's about it. Peace.